Welcome. So this is going to be our standing basic series, movement number 2. And for this particular movement, what we're going to do is we are going to be focusing in on our ankle joints. And our ankle joints are going to do the bulk of the heavy lifting here, although there is going to be other joints and other things we are going to be working on as this becomes easier for us. But to begin with, we start with thinking of the ankles and what are the ankles doing. The ankles have a couple of movements they can really do, where they are essentially extending our toes or bringing our toes back in. And there is also a little bit of a rocking motion, side to side thing that they can do. It's not a huge range of motion there, but they do move that way, and that's what enables us to kind of circle our ankles around and do all that fun stuff. For this particular motion, what we are focusing on with our ankles is mainly that, sort of up-down thing, working the gas and the brake. But we're going to do that standing on two legs, and so they're going to be supporting our entire weight the whole time. Again, we're going to start in our Ma Bu, our horse stance. So that is going to be feet squared up, feet pointed straight ahead, or that line in between our big toe and our 4 other toes, going straight back through the ankle. That is how we are aligning what straight ahead is. Our weight is evenly distributed, 50-50. That means 50% of our weight is going down our right leg, 50% of our weight is going down our left leg, 50% of our weight is going into our toes, 50% of our weight is going into our heels. Evenly weighted all the way around. From here, we are going to flatten out our hips like we've been practicing. We bend our knees to get ourselves sunk down into horse stance or horse riding stance, Ma Bu, our medium frame horse stance. Probably going to say that way too many times, but from this position here, this is our hangout position, our home position, the one we're doing all of our standing meditation in. From here, if I were to press down with the pad of my right foot, essentially, the balls of my feet, if I push down there, what's going to happen is my leg is going to want to straighten up on me, and it's going to want to tilt me over to the side. And if I relax that back down and I come back into my Ma Bu, my horse stance, if I do that on my left foot, I push down here, it's going to push me up and sideways. Now, I don't want my pelvis to change its orientation in any way during this movement. So when one pushes, when one foot pushes down on the pad, the other foot has to counter that movement, has to pull up. And this allows me to shift my weight smoothly and evenly without changing the orientation of my pelvis. My pelvis stays flat and level during this whole thing. So if I push down here, I need to pull up here. So this is the ankle movement we are focusing on. And if I do that ankle movement, so I push down on one side and I pull up on the other, what happens is my weight is going to shift not only to my left side, also it is going to shift a little more into the ball of my right foot and a little more into the heel of my left foot. Then I need to release that and come back into center, absolutely evenly weighted front and back, left and right. Now if I push down on this side and I receive, pull back on this side, I can shift my weight smoothly over to this side. This side, the weight is going to drop a little more into the heel, and this side, the weight drops a little more into the ball of the foot. And so this enables me to shift my weight smoothly and evenly from side to side, just focusing on my ankles. And it keeps my hips nice and flat and level, and therefore the whole rest of my body doesn't have to move. It doesn't have to twist around, doesn't have to lean, doesn't have to compensate in any way, shape, or form, as long as my ankles are working in this sort of opposite fashion. Basically, you don't step on the gas and the brake at the same time. If you're on the brake, you don't step on the gas, right? You pull back on the gas, or you step on the gas, you take off the brake, right? So as long as we are doing that, we can shift side to side smoothly and evenly. Now, to make this Tai Chi or Qi Gong, all we got to do is add in a breath. And the breath is going to work very similar. You breathe in, you breathe out. It transitions from in-breath to out-breath, nice and smooth. You don't really hold it anywhere. There's no pauses, there's no stops, anything like that. We're just going to breathe in as we go to the side. And then breathe out as we return back to neutral. Breathe in to the side and out. Back to neutral. Into the side. Out, back to neutral. Into the side. Out, back to neutral. Into the side. Out, back to neutral. Breathe into the side. And out, back to neutral. Okay, so that's basically level one of what we're doing, just shifting our weight from side to side. This is basically how we walk. I know it doesn't quite look like that, but when we are walking, we are definitely shifting our weight from one leg to the next leg. You know, our ankles are involved. We're pushing off and capturing with the other leg. So this movement basic does apply to just taking this out into the world and going for a walk, as much as the previous one did, just in being able to keep our hips nice and level and flat and bend our knees a little bit. Going for a walk this way. Is how we take this out into the world. But there will be a playlist coming on Tai Chi walking and how all this sort of stuff is going to apply to that. So stay tuned. In the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to continue on a little bit, and we're going to add another layer to this weight shift thing that's happening. And essentially what we're going to do is on our foot that we are pulling back on, so we are accepting the weight onto that leg, right? So as I push off here, I'm pushing here and I'm sort of pulling my ankle back and up. I'm pulling my foot up to accept the weight onto this side. This is bringing the weight just out of center, like front back on my leg, and is bringing it a little more towards the heel as the weight shifts a little more towards the toes on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to add a little bit of a grab with my toes, almost like I'm trying to grip the ground. So this side here that is going to accept my weight is going to pull up while simultaneously grabbing. So doing this sort of an action. Right? I want my foot to feel like it is doing that. As I push off here, I'm going to pull in and grab here. So practice that a couple of times. Just pull in and grab with your toes. Feel how that grounds you in there, how you just feel like really attached and really strong and stable in that leg. That's what we're looking for. We want to grip the ground, and then as I release that, I go back to the center. Grip the ground, so I shift my weight and release, back to the center. Grip the ground and release. Go back to the center. If you're having trouble getting this, I highly recommend you get yourself a set of toe spacers. I have a video on here where I say so, and everything a lot of times, where I'm trying to tell you the benefits of good footwear and toe spacers. You can watch that one if you can stand to hear me say that over and over and over again. But just putting on a set of toe spacers is instantly going to give us a little more of this grippy feeling that we can get, just that mental connection to our toes and like really gripping and grounding that has quite frankly just been deadened by wearing terrible shoes for years. That's the other thing I say in that video a lot. Then if you want to progress a little further on, you might have noticed I wear these funky toe shoes a lot when doing this sort of thing, because that kind of gives me the space and feeling of something in between my toes that the toe spacers do, while also wearing something that protects my feet against the concrete. But the ultimate is definitely get toe socks and barefoot shoes. Just, it'll change your life. But enough about that. So we are gripping as our weight transfers onto one side. So the opposite of this, because remember we're working gas and brake in opposites, there always has to be a counter force to it. So as I am pushing off, I'm going to push off with my toes here, and then that's going to transfer my weight over to this side. Now this side is gripping, right? So as I push here, I want to be doing the opposite thing as the grip. So we can think of the toe grip pulling in, then this push off, this flexion of the ankle, this pushing off here, is got to push off like from the center. The grip, everything comes in towards the center, and then the opposite movement of that is pushing everything out, and right from the center area. That would be here on your foot approximately. Point in your acupuncture chart, it's going to be the bubbling well, but that is the thing that is going to either contract in as we grip, and then we're going to push out from that point as we push away, as our ankle flexes, and you're going to get this whole thing, right? It's just going to. So it's almost like I'm going to do, like I want to jump, right? Like if you want to get a really springy jump, that's the place you would be pushing from, that center point on your foot, that would just go, right? You want to push off of that. So as one side pushes off, the other side grips. So we get a So what I'm doing with my hands here, this is just basically a mental thing for myself to help myself connect to my feet. This is what I want my foot to be doing. It is going to grab on, it's going to feel that pull in here. You can think of this as like eagle claws or octopus sucker, whatever it is, going sucking down, gripping, grabbing, and really pulling in with the ankle. And then as I shift my weight to the other side, it's pushing out from that central point as this side grabs in and it now locks on. So whatever imagery you want to use in your brain to get you to do this sort of thing, where we're sliding from side to side. Again, biggest thing, hips nice and level. And you start off just working gas and brake. And once that gets nice and smooth, you start adding grip and push. And always coordinate this with your breathing. So breathing in, come back to center, breathing in, back to center, breathing in, back to center, breathing in, back to center. And just like the previous exercise, however many you can do, awesome. Work yourself up to the edge of uncomfortable. If you're going for sets and reps, you know, that's kind of your increment. You just go a little bit, you do one more rep, maybe add one more set. If you're doing a time thing and you're going to do it for 1 minute, your next goal is 1:30. However you want to build on it. If you get a chance to actually work with someone, an instructor like myself, if you're in the area, or whoever you've got closest to you, or even just a buddy, help each other out, check things, you know, over with each other, and see how this progresses for you. If you got any questions, comments, anything like that, drop them down below, and I will do my best to answer them, and hopefully it'll inspire some inspiration for some more videos coming along. So again, thank you very much. We'll see you in the next one.